Wind carries salt and the distant pulse of waves meeting ancient rock. Dusk settles over the headland. The sky drains from amber to deep indigo, leaving the ocean a mirror of darkening gray. Stone steps rise through the coastal air, worn smooth by decades of passage. Each step exhales the day's warmth into cooling salt wind. The tower stands solid against the gathering darkness, its cylindrical form catching the last threads of ocean light along the eastern face. The spiral staircase begins its ascent through the tower's heart. Iron railings catch the fading twilight, their metal surface cool and weathered. Each landing reveals narrow windows framing fragments of the darkening seascape. The air grows thinner, saltier with height. Wave resonance echoes against the stone walls, a low, patient rhythm beneath the wind's sharper voice. Below, the keeper's quarters and storage hold the day in shadow. The lamp room opens above. Curved windows surround the gallery, catching the last luminous traces of sunset on the horizon. Brass fittings gleam in the dimming light. The oil lantern rests in its housing, waiting for the night ahead. Glass panes are clear, ready to focus the beam across dark water. The beacon room stands at the tower's crown, isolated and alert. Below, the sea continues its ancient conversation with stone, a rhythm that will shape the hours until dawn. Twilight deepens. Wind carries salt and the distant pulse of waves meeting ancient rock. The stone steps rise in a spiral, each one worn smooth by decades of passage. The air grows cooler with elevation. Below, the rocky headland juts into darkening water, its surface catching the last amber and violet light of the fading sky. The ocean begins to merge with shadow. The stairwell narrows further upward. Walls of weathered stone curve inward, and the spiral tightens. A narrow iron railing, burnished by salt spray, guides the ascent. Small windows set in the tower wall frame glimpses of the coastline below, the horizon line sharp and defined. Painted in deep indigo and gray, the last light retreats beyond the edge of the world. The tower interior grows dim. Each footfall echoes in the vertical shaft. Storage shelves line the lower sections, holding canisters and cloth, bottles of oil arranged in careful rows. The iron stairs creak slightly under weight, a sound so familiar it blends with the wind's constant whisper through gaps in the outer wall. Higher still, the keeper's quarters appear, a narrow room with a single window facing the ocean, its glass already beginning to show the reflection of the approaching night rather than the world beyond. The final steps lead upward into the lamp room. Windows curve around the chamber in a continuous arc, now revealing only darkness and the first stars emerging in the upper atmosphere. A brass oil lantern waits in the center, cold and still, ready for its nightly awakening. Wind carries salt and the distant pulse of waves meeting ancient rock. The worn stone steps rise through gathering dusk, their surface traced with decades of spray and weathering. Ocean light drains from the sky in shades of amber and gray, painting the headland in fading warmth. The air grows cooler as elevation increases, carrying the mineral tang of the sea and the deeper resonance of night wind through the tower's exposed gallery. The spiral staircase emerges from shadow, its iron rail cold and salt-filmed beneath the dimming light. Each step is worn smooth by routine ascent. The stone dark and uneven. The tower walls curve inward, narrowing the visible sky to a shrinking wedge above. The beacon lens waits in the lamp room, catching the last glow of the western horizon through its curved glass panes. Outside, the ocean darkens to deep indigo where it meets the rocky shore below. The gallery windows frame the approaching night in all directions. To the east, stars begin their emergence against deepening blue. To the west, the horizon holds a final thread of copper light between cloud and water. The brass oil lantern rests within the lamp room, unlit and waiting. Its metal surface reflects the fading daylight in soft glints. The rotating beacon mechanism stands silent, its purpose not yet engaged. The rhythm of the ocean below continues, constant and measureless. Dusk settles fully across the rocky headland. The stone of the tower radiates the day's absorbed warmth, slowly releasing it to the cooling air. Salt spray patterns the gallery glass in fine, delicate trails. The beam of the not yet lit lantern would soon cut through the darkness. But for now, only the fading, natural light touches the lens. The night shift waits in preparation. Stone, glass, metal, and ocean, all elements in their place as full darkness approaches. Wind carries salt and the distant pulse of waves meeting ancient rock. The rocky headland rises dark against a fading sky, the last light draining from the horizon in shades of amber and gray. Worn stone steps climb upward, their surfaces weathered smooth by decades of salt spray and footfall. The air grows cooler with each elevation, and the sound of the ocean intensifies, a rhythmic percussion against the base of the headland below. The yarrow iron staircase spirals upward through the tower's interior, its metal handrail cold beneath fingertips, seeking guidance. Storage shelves line the lower levels, holding cans of oil and spare wicks arranged in orderly rows. The spiral tightens as the staircase rises, each step echoing faintly in the confined stone shaft. The smell of lamp oil grows stronger, a sharp mineral tang cutting through the salt-laden air, drifting through cracks and seams. The keeper's quarters appear on the intermediate landing, simple and sparse. A narrow window frames the darkening ocean. A table holds a logbook and ink. Waiting for the evening's observations, the brass oil lantern rests nearby, its glass chamber clear and ready, the wick trimmed and waiting for ignition. Beyond this threshold, the staircase continues its upward spiral, each turn bringing the lamp room closer. At last, the lamp room gallery emerges, a circular chamber ringed with curved windows. The great lantern dominates the space, its Fresnel lens catching the last light of day. Below, the ocean has turned to ink and shadow. The night is arriving. Wind carries salt and the distant pulse of waves meeting ancient rock. The stone steps ascend into dimming amber light, each tread worn smooth by years of passage. Salt spray clings to the granite surface, catching the last rays of sun sinking below the horizon. The sky bleeds from blue to gold to violet, and the ocean below churns in deepening shadow. The iron railing along the spiral staircase is cool and salt-roughened, its green patina deepening in the fading light. Stone walls close in on either side, worn and damp, releasing the mineral smell of age and sea air. Above, the narrowing shaft of the stairwell leads upward into darkness, where the lamp room waits at the tower's peak. The brass lantern stands ready in the lamp room, its polished surface reflecting the last threads of daylight through the curved gallery windows. Oil fills the reservoir below, fuel for the night ahead. The lens waits. Clean and clear, oriented toward the dark expanse of water where no ship has yet appeared. Wind presses against the glass with a low, sustained moan. Night settles fully now. The rotating beacon mechanism stands silent and still, its gears and weights at rest. The gallery encircles the lamp room, offering an unobstructed view of the rocky headland below and the open ocean beyond, an empty stage awaiting the light that will soon begin its eternal sweep across the darkness. Oil and brass scent mingles with the hum of the turning mechanism, steady and patient. The lantern chamber rises at the tower's crown, its glass walls curved in a perfect circle. Panes catch and refract the darkness beyond, each one a threshold between interior glow and the vast night ocean. Brass fixtures gleam under the soft interior light. The great rotating beacon dominates the space, a Fresnel lens of prismatic clarity. Its rings and mirrors, arranged in geometric precision. Metal brackets secure the mechanism in place, polished to a warm shine. The glass enclosure surrounds it all, creating a sanctuary of controlled illumination. The rotating mechanism turns with measured purpose, a mechanical heartbeat. Gears mesh in quiet synchronization, their movements releasing faint vibrations into the stone tower. The beacon's rotation sweeps steady arcs of light outward through the glass, a rhythmic pulse ready for the long darkness ahead. Everything waits in readiness. Oil reserves below, brass fixtures polished, glass panes clear. The great light prepared to divide night from visibility across the restless waters. The lamp room glows with amber light. Brass fixtures catch the beam in scattered gleams, polished surfaces reflecting the rotating mechanism's steady pulse. The great Fresnel lens rotates with methodical patience, its prismatic surfaces bending light into a brilliant cone that sweeps across the dark water below. Glass panels curve around the chamber, salt-streaked and clear, revealing the void beyond. The turning mechanism hums, a deep, rhythmic sound that resonates through the iron gallery. Brass gears and shafts perform their nightly labor without hesitation. Oil pools collect in carefully positioned troughs, their surface trembling with each rotation. The scent of mineral oil mingles with the metallic tang of aged brass, a perfume, both mechanical and ancient. Beyond the curved windows, the night ocean stretches infinite and dark. The rotating beam cuts through fog and mist in regular arcs, illuminating whitecaps and the rocks far below. The glass reflects the interior light, brass fittings, the glowing lens, the turning shadows of the mechanism itself. A barrier of transparency separates the warm chamber from the cold Atlantic wind pressing against the panes. The beacon continues its circuit. Oil levels rest where they have been set. Brass valves stand at their posts. The lamp room exists in stillness and motion at once, a space of purpose, tended but empty, where light and mechanism speak the only language the night requires. The lamp room unfolds within curved glass walls, offering unobstructed sight across the darkened ocean. Brass fixtures catch the faint glow filtering through the panes, rail joints. Valve handles, the mounting frame of the rotating beacon. The mechanism hums a steady, patient rhythm, its gears and bearings calibrated for hours of motion. Oil and brass scent mingles in the confined air, warm and metallic. The great lamp sits at the chamber's heart, its glass lens prepared for the long darkness. Beneath the curved gallery, the iron staircase spirals downward in tight coils, disappearing into shadow. The rotation continues undisturbed, a measured, perpetual sweep that will soon cast its beam across the water. Salt wind presses against the outer glass, mingling with the scent of spent oil and the faint resonance of the turning mechanism. All surfaces gleam with the preparation of readiness. The beacon's rotation persists, steady as a heartbeat, casting no light yet into the chamber, but promising its sweep across the black waves beyond. The lamp room remains still within its glass shell, poised between the rocky coast below and the vast night sky above, waiting for the moment when illumination will reach across the dark water. The lamp room opens into a circular chamber, walls of glass curved outward to the dark ocean. Brass fixtures catch what little light remains, polished fittings and mounting brackets gleaming dully in the gathering dusk. The great rotating beacon stands at the center, its Fresnel lens faceted and silent, poised for the night ahead. Oil fills the reservoir below, a deep amber liquid waiting to fuel the turning mechanism. The scent lingers in the still air, mineral and warm, grounding. Brass pipework connects tank to lamp. Each joint sealed tight. Every surface is prepared, ordered, ready to sustain the beam through the long hours. The turning mechanism rests motionless now, but its purpose is evident in every gear and lever. Outside the glass walls, the ocean stretches black and formless, waiting. The wind carries salt spray that beads against the panes, faint and patient. The beacon will soon sweep across that darkness in steady rhythm, a measured pulse of light. All is in place. The lamp room holds stillness and readiness in equal measure, an instrument of precision suspended between the sky and the restless sea. Poised to cut through the night, oil and brass scent mingles with the hum of the turning mechanism. Steady and patient, the lamp room reveals itself, a glass-walled chamber perched at the tower's heart. Curved windows frame the dark ocean beyond. Salt spray beating on the panes. The great rotating beacon dominates the space, its Fresnel lens catching what little starlight penetrates the night. Brass fixtures glint beneath the overhead rail, their surfaces polished and waiting. The rotating mechanism turns with mechanical precision, a slow, measured rhythm that has marked every night in this tower. Oil pooling in small reservoirs feeds the great wick below, its flame ready to ignite. Glass chimneys stand clean and transparent, positioned to amplify and project the light outward across the headland. The beacon's interior is a careful geometry of mirrors and crystal, each surface angled to gather and multiply the warmth and glow that will soon pour across the black water. The reflectors curve inward like giant eyes watching the night. Around the lamp room, the iron gallery railing traces a circle, weathered by decades of salt wind. Every corner holds the faint scent of paraffin and metal polish, the signature of the tower's most vital chamber. The lamp room waits, silent, ready. Warm amber glow reflects in curved glass as the flame breathes inside its chimney. The oil lantern sits centered in the lamp room, its brass surface catching the light it produces. Inside the protective globe, the wick burns steady, casting a halo that softens against the darkness beyond the gallery windows. The reservoir beneath the flame holds reserves of oil, its level visible through calibrated markers on the vessel's side. The rotating mechanism above remains poised, ready to sweep the beam across the ocean in its measured arc. Every surface in the lamp room gleams, brass fittings, polished glass panes, and the metal framework that holds the beacon aloft. Outside the curved windows, the Atlantic stretches dark and restless. Salt wind presses against the glass, and the rhythmic percussion of waves against the rocky headland below provides a steady pulse. The rotating beam stands ready to cut through the night, its light held secure by the careful balance of fuel, flame, and glass. The lamp room is silent except for the ocean's voice. Everything necessary for the beacon's survival until dawn has been verified and secured. The warm glow continues its quiet work, a steadfast companion to the coastal darkness, waiting for the moment the rotation begins anew. The brass lantern holds the night's most precious resource. Warm amber glow fills the curved glass chamber, and within it, the flame breathes steadily, a pulse of light against the darkness. The wick sits centered, fed by oil that pools in the base. Every surface gleams with the reflection of that single, unwavering beacon. The oil reservoir is deep and still full. The liquid catches the glow, amber within amber, a reserve that will sustain the light through the remaining hours. The glass chimney encloses the flame in its protective sleeve, angled surfaces channeling heat upward, while the curved walls refract the brightness outward, across the dark water. The lamp room gallery stretches quiet around the lantern's steady work. Salt air drifts through the iron frames of the gallery windows. Below, the tower's stone walls hold the cold of the ocean night. The rotating mechanism stands silent in its cycle, the great lens still catching every ray and bending it toward the horizon where the sea waits. Warm amber glow reflects in curved glass as the flame breathes inside its chimney. The brass lantern sits at the heart of the lamp room, its polished surface catching every flicker of the burning wick. Inside the glass chamber, the flame dances, steady, right, ready to project its beam across the dark water. The curved panes frame the light perfectly, each panel a lens focusing warmth outward. Oil reserves rest in their measured vessels below the lantern housing. The liquid level holds steady, amber-tinted in the dimmer sections away from the direct flame. The wick itself burns evenly, its white-hot core surrounded by clean yellow flame. No smoke clouds the glass. Only clarity remains. The mechanism that allows the beacon to rotate continues its slow, methodical sweep above the lamp room gallery. Salt-laden air moves through the gallery windows, carrying the rhythm of waves against the stone far below. The narrow iron railing encircles the lamp room, its weathered surface catching highlights from the lantern's glow. Beyond the curved glass, the beam extends outward into the void, a single steady line cutting across the black Atlantic. Dawn remains hours away, but the light holds firm, constant, unwavering. The lamp room holds its steady warmth. Glass panes curve outward, framing the Atlantic's dark expanse. The brass lantern stands centered on its pedestal, the flame within, burning steady and bright. Oil fills the reservoir beneath, amber liquid catching the glow. Measured and deliberate, the wick sits trimmed and straight, its fiber burning clean without smoke or sputter. The rotating beacon continues its rhythm above, casting its sweep across water and reef. Below the glass dome, every component works in concert, gears turning with precision, light bending through the lens system. The mechanical heartbeat of the tower pulses through the iron framework. No deviation from the expected pattern, no flicker or dimming. The metal housing radiates gentle heat. Salt air enters through ventilation slots, cooling the glass even as the flame warms it from within. Condensation forms and retreats in invisible cycles. Each pane remains clear, no dust accumulation, no film to obscure the beam's transmission. The curved surfaces hold their optical integrity. Oil levels stable. Wick centered. Flame breathing its steady rhythm inside the chimney. No wavering. No surge. The amber glow reflects against the brass, warming the surfaces it touches. Outside, the beam sweeps across the darkness once more, certain and unbroken, carrying its signal across the open water until first light arrives. The lamproom holds its warmth against the cold night air. Warm amber glow reflects in curved glass as the flame breathes inside its chimney. Oil fills the reservoir below, level steady and clear in the glass gauge. The brass lantern gleams under the soft light it casts, its metal surfaces warm to approach. The rotating mechanism sits silent between cycles, waiting for the next sweep of its beam across the dark water. Wicks rest in their holders, trimmed and uniform, ready to burn evenly through the remaining hours before dawn. The glass panes surrounding the lamproom show no cracks, no fogging, only clarity between the interior light and the black expanse beyond. The beam sweeps outward again, its golden path cutting across the ocean's surface, where whitecaps catch the light. Salt air moves through the gallery, carrying the mineral scent of the sea up the iron stairs and into the lamproom. Everything is in order. The light will hold strong until dawn arrives to blend its rays with the beam's warmth. Light finds the wave crests in silence, then surrenders them again to shadow. An endless, rhythmic pulse. The beacon ignites within the lamproom, its filament brightening to a fierce white core. Behind the curved glass, the beam emerges whole and golden, vast enough to fill the darkness entirely. The beam begins its rotation. Smoothly, mechanically, it sweeps across the black water in a measured arc. 10 seconds elapse. The light cuts past the rocky headland, past the foam-lined shallows, out toward the open ocean, where depth swallows definition. Every illuminated patch of water appears suddenly vividly real, then dissolves back into an absolute black as the beam continues its turn. The rotation persists. Salt-laden air moves through the lamproom gallery. The brass mounting of the lens catches reflected warmth from the burning filament. Outside, the beam sweeps again, north now, illuminating the face of a distant swell before releasing it. The wave crests rise and fall in rhythm with the light's return. 10 seconds. Darkness. 10 seconds. Golden arc. The pattern establishes itself as eternal, as reliable as the turning of the mechanism itself, as constant as the wind that tastes of brine and stone. The golden beam sweeps outward, a measured arc cutting through the Atlantic void. 10 seconds mark its return, a mechanical rhythm older than memory. The lamproom gallery curves in shadow save for the shaft of light that strikes the curved windows with geometric precision. Each rotation catches salt sprays suspended in the cold air, making visible what was invisible. Below the lamproom, the iron staircase spirals downward through layers of darkness. Storage shelves hold oil cans, replacement glass panels, record books stacked with decades of observations. The beacon's glow penetrates these lower chambers intermittently, casting rotating shadows across brass fittings and wooden support beams. The beam above rotates again. 10 seconds elapsed. The gallery windows blaze momentarily, then fade to black. Outside the gallery, the rocky headland remains exposed to the churning dark. The beacon light finds the wave crests in silence, traces their contours with luminous precision, then releases them back into shadow. The ocean's surface fractures and reforms beneath the sweep. Salt wind carries the resonance of waves against stone, a bass note beneath the mechanical tick of the rotating mechanism. Every 10 seconds, the arc completes its circuit. The brass oil lantern burns steady in the lamp room's heart, feeding the great lens its continuous supply. The turning shaft groans softly with each rotation. A sound felt rather than heard, a tremor through the tower's iron spine. Light and shadow trade places in an endless, rhythmic pulse. The beam sweeps again. The darkness returns. The cycle continues through the black water and the black sky above it. The beacon ignites in the lamp room gallery, its mechanism turning with the steady rhythm of clockwork. A golden arc sweeps across the black water below, cutting through salt-laden air. The beam finds the wave crests in silence, illuminating foam and spray, then surrenders them again to shadow. 10 seconds pass. Darkness reclaims the horizon. The rotation continues without pause. Each sweep casts the curved windows into alternating gold and shadow, the glass reflecting the turning flame within. The beam reaches across rocky outcrops and granite faces below, painting stone surfaces. In brief, brilliant light before withdrawing. The ocean surface catches the arc and releases it, an endless exchange of illumination and darkness. 10 seconds mark the interval. The brass mechanisms turn within the lamp room, oil feeding the flames steadily, the rotation smooth and precise. Salt wind moves across the gallery rail and through the window panes, carrying the scent of the deep. The beam traces the same path it has traced for hours, for nights, painting the same waters with the same golden arc, eternal, rhythmic, unbroken. The beacon sweeps on through the darkness, its pulse steady and unchanging. Light finds the black water, touches it, abandons it. The cycle repeats, an infinite rhythm carved into the night. Light finds the wave crests in silence, then surrenders them again to shadow, an endless, rhythmic pulse. The beacon's great lens begins its ancient rotation, sweeping a golden arc across the black water. Every 10 seconds, the beam cuts through darkness, catching the spray of distant swells before withdrawing into the night. The rotating mechanism turns with steady precision, its brass fixtures catching the internal glow as the light passes. Rock and water below receive their brief illumination, a fleeting visibility that defines the boundary between shore and open sea. The rhythm establishes itself without variation. 10 seconds of darkness, then a sudden bloom of golden radiance sweeping across the gallery windows, casting moving shadows on curved glass and iron framework. The beam's path is absolute and circular, painted into the air itself. Below the lamp room, the tower's stone walls receive the reflected glow, pale bands of light ascending and descending the spiral staircase with each rotation. The salt-laden wind continues its passage, carrying the echo of the beacon's mechanical breath upward through the structure. The oil lantern's warmth feeds the great lens above, its consumption steady and measured. The brass oil supply reflects each passage of the beam, creating miniature arcs within the lamp room itself. Outside, the night waters remain largely invisible, except during those 10-second intervals of illumination. Then, they transform, briefly rendered in shades of silver and gold before returning to their true darkness. The beacon asks nothing of the night, merely performs its endless declaration. A light, a darkness, a light again. Waves continue their impact against the rocky headland below, their sound constant, beneath the mechanical whisper of rotation. The lamp room glows with a warm, amber light as the beacon mechanism engages. The lantern, fueled and polished, radiates outward through curved glass panes. At the center, the flame burns steady and bright, casting long shadows across brass and iron fittings. The rotating apparatus begins its slow, deliberate sweep. A shaft of golden light emerges from the lamp room, cutting through the black ocean air. Every 10 seconds, the beam completes its arc, painting the water's surface in momentary brilliance before releasing it back into darkness. Wave crests catch the light as it passes, glinting silver and white. The beam finds them in silence, illuminates their texture and motion, then withdraws. Salt spray catches the glass of the gallery windows, creating ripples in the reflected glow. The rhythm continues, eternal, unchanged, measured in 10-second intervals. Below, the stone tower stands solid against the wind and spray. The beacon's light pulses across the rocky headland, across stone worn smooth by years of sea and storm. The darkness always returns, until the next rotation brings light again. Cloth whispers against glass, the faint creak of iron railings as wind presses gently on the gallery. Lantern panes curve around the lamp room, each surface catching the rotating beacon's warm glow. Far below, the Atlantic stretches invisible in darkness, miles of ocean meeting the rocky headland's invisible stone. The glass reflects light back inward. The brass oil lantern burns steady at the tower's heart, its golden warmth spreading across curved walls. Salt residue films the windows, residue of spray and wind that climbs from the churning water. Each pane must be clear for the beam to sweep unobstructed across the dark expanse. The gallery's iron railing vibrates subtly. Wind pressure varies, sometimes a soft press, sometimes a sustained lean against the metal frame. The floor beneath is stone, cold and smooth, worn by decades of circuit patrols. The beacon rotates with mechanical certainty, casting its shaft of light out across the water, then into darkness, then out again. Silence settles between wind gusts. The lantern panes are nearly transparent now, their surfaces reflective and clear. Somewhere far below, invisible waves strike the rocks, their sound muffled by height and stone. The night deepens. The beacon turns. The gallery waits in its circle of glass and iron. The gallery's curved windows frame the invisible ocean, miles of dark water beyond the glass, unseen but present in the salt-laden air. Wind presses against the iron railings with a low, steady hum. The metal creaks softly, a rhythm measured and patient. The lantern panes catch what little light exists in the lamp room. The brass surfaces beneath them glow with a warm amber hue. Glass reflects inward, then outward into the vast darkness. The surfaces remain clear, unmarred by salt spray or condensation, maintained in precise condition. Around the gallery, the iron gallery rail continues its patient creaking as wind shifts direction. The lens mechanism sits centered in the lamp room, its precision engineering silent and waiting. Below the gallery, the tower walls descend into shadow, the staircase spiraling down into keepers' quarters and storage, all holding their stillness. The rotating beacon beam sweeps outward, cutting through the night with its prescribed arc. Glass panes transmit the light cleanly, unobstructed. The ocean surface remains invisible below, but its presence is undeniable. Cool air rising. Salt crystals suspended in every breeze that touches stone and iron. Cloth whispers across glass panes. each surface catching the rotating beam's pale arc. The curved windows of the lamproom gallery curve inward, framing the dark expanse beyond, ocean invisible beneath the night. Its presence felt only in the salt-laden air that reaches through every seal and joint. The iron railings encircle the gallery with geometric precision, their cold metal grooved by decades of wind and spray. Each gust presses against them with gentle persistence, producing a low creak that mingles with the sound of the beam's rotation, a steady mechanical pulse that has marked every hour of darkness. The lantern panes gleam with renewed clarity, their transparency making the beam's path visible only through the scatter of salt residue that clings to the outer surfaces. Condensation forms thin traces along the lower edges, where warm air from below meets the cooling glass, temporary patterns that fade and reform with each shift in temperature. The gallery rests in stillness between wind gusts, the iron railings settling into silence, the glass reflecting only the beacon's gradual sweep. The ocean far below remains unseen, its vast surface marked only by the distant sound of waves meeting the base of the headland, a rhythm that continues regardless. Indifferent to the light that sweeps across it, cloth whispers against glass, the faint creak of iron railings as wind presses gently on the gallery. The curved windows of the lamproom frame the invisible ocean beyond, a vast darkness, unmarked by horizon or boundary. Salt-laden air moves through the iron framework, steady and unhurried. Each pane catches the rotating beacon beam in fractional moments, then returns to stillness. The gallery's iron surface holds the night's chill. Beyond the glass, the Atlantic stretches unobserved, its surface miles distant from this vantage. Wind oscillates in gentle cycles, building, subsiding, building again. The texture of the gallery railings shows years of salt accumulation, a fine crystalline patina. The lantern mechanism continues its measured rotation, casting light across ordered rows of glass panes. The brass oil lantern glows at the tower's heart, warmth radiating through the enclosed lamproom. Its light refracts through the cleaned glass, scattering across the curved walls. Below, the ocean remains silent and vast, its surface unmarked by weather or disturbance. Wind noise fades to a faint undertone as midnight deepens. The beacon's sweep continues, a rhythmic return of light to darkness. Darkness to light, steady as the beating of the tower itself. Cloth whispers against glass. The lamproom's curved windows frame the dark expanse beyond, miles of invisible ocean meeting an equally invisible sky. The iron railing of the gallery creaks faintly as wind presses against its length, a steady, patient force from the sea. Each pane catches the faint reflection of the rotating beacon, a brief bloom of light that fades into darkness again. The lantern itself stands at the center of the lamproom, its brass catching the warm internal glow. Oil inside casts a gentle amber warmth across the glass surfaces, illuminating the meticulous work being performed on each pane. The salt-laden air has left fine deposits on the exterior. Each stroke removes them methodically. The beam continues its circular sweep, uninterrupted and constant. Wind shifts direction slightly, carrying the resonance of distant waves against the headland's stone foundation far below. The railing settles, its iron frame still and silent for a moment. The gallery itself, this narrow, curved walkway around the lamproom, remains hushed. Above, the night sky holds no stars. Below, the ocean holds no visible horizon. Only the beacon's rotation marks time. A measured pulse of light and shadow across the polished glass. The glass gleams now, clear and reflective. The interior of the lamp room glows softly from the lantern's warmth. Beyond the windows, the night remains absolute, vast, and undisturbed, unchanged by the careful maintenance of the light that pierces it again and again with its steady, deliberate beam. Each footstep echoes through the narrow passage. The lantern room fades above, its glow still visible through the tower's geometric window. The iron staircase spirals downward, cool metal beneath touch, each step worn smooth by decades of transit. The rotating beam sweeps across the glass panes far overhead, casting moving shadows down the shaft. The air grows cooler with descent, carrying faint salt spray from the ocean below. The walls narrow around the spiral. Stone and iron form the continuous descent. Small openings frame glimpses of the dark ocean, barely visible through the geometric panes. The brass fixtures lining the rail catch what remaining light filters down, their surfaces catching the distant glow. Below, the keeper's quarters exist in deeper shadow, a transition space between the bright beacon above and the mechanical heart of the tower further down. The staircase continues its spiral, each turn revealing another landing, another small window frame. The echo of sound against stone walls creates a hollow rhythm, the tower itself responding to movement through its interior. The temperature drops steadily as descent progresses. Storage shelves line the walls at this level. Oil tins, cloth, equipment arranged in patient order. The mechanical spaces below wait, their function essential through the night. The iron staircase spirals downward in tight coils, its metal surface cool and worn smooth by years of use. Each step descends deeper into shadow. Above, the lantern room's warm glow recedes, visible through the narrow geometric window, a shrinking disk of amber light against the dark tower stone. The air grows heavier, tinged with salt and the mineral scent of ancient rock. The staircase walls tighten as the spiral continues. Stone blocks, fitted precisely, form the outer curve. An occasional iron bracket juts from the masonry, secured by weathered bolts. The temperature drops further. Brass fixtures line the rail at intervals, oxidized green, catching what little light filters through the tower's narrow apertures. The ocean's rhythm echoes faintly through the walls, a distant compression of waves against the rocky foundation. The descent reaches the keeper's quarters level. Thick wooden beams support the floor above, their grain darkened by decades of salt air. Storage shelves line alcoves in the stone. Containers and spare mechanisms sit in careful rows. A narrow corridor branches off, lined with closed wooden doors. Dust motes drift in the faint draft that pulls upward from below, drawn toward the distant light above. The temperature has stabilized, cool and constant. The staircase concludes at the lower chamber. Engine mechanisms and gears occupy metal frames, the machinery that once drove the lighthouse light in slow rotation. Oil cans sit on a bench beside maintenance tools. Ledgers and log sheets rest nearby, their pages worn at the edges. The stone floor is bare and slightly damp. Above, the light has vanished entirely into the tower's interior. The space holds only the silence of machinery at rest, and the perpetual cold of depths within the rock. The iron staircase descends in a tight spiral, its metal rails cool beneath the salt-worn surface. Each step rings faintly in the narrow shaft, the sound echoing upward through the hollow core of the tower. Above, the lantern room's glow still penetrates through the geometric window, casting a pale geometric shadow across the iron treads. The air grows cooler with each downward turn, and the stone walls close in, their texture becoming more tactile in the dim light. The staircase continues its descent past the keeper's quarters, where curtained windows frame the darkness outside. Below, the mechanisms of the tower's lower levels begin to emerge from shadow brass fixtures, iron brackets, and the careful geometry of the structure itself. The walls narrow further, and the sound of the spiral becomes more intimate. Above, the glow of the lamp room fades to a distant luminescence, growing softer with each turn downward. The final turns of the spiral lead into cooler, deeper silence. Storage spaces open at intervals along the descent, their entrances dark and still. The brass fixtures catch what little light remains, reflecting it faintly. The stone foundation of the tower becomes evident now, solid and weathered, anchoring the entire structure above. The staircase ends at the lower level, where mechanisms rest in stillness, waiting through the night. The rope guide runs smooth under fingertips, worn by countless ascents and descents through this same iron passage. The iron staircase spirals downward through the tower's core, each step narrower and cooler than those above. Metal rails curve in precise geometric turns, catching what little light filters through the geometric window openings. The beacon's glow fades, with each descending rotation now visible only as a distant amber gleam at the top of the spiral. The temperature drops further. Stone walls press closer, their surface rough and salt-worn. A thin film of moisture clings to the iron handrails. The sea air's persistent reach even this far into the tower's heart. The spiral tightens as the descent continues, each turn revealing narrow landings and shadowed doorways leading to storage chambers below. The lower mechanisms rest in silence, brass gears and oil reservoirs waiting in the dim. A logbook sits closed on a wooden ledge, its leather cover worn smooth by time. Brass fittings gleam faintly in the available light, their surfaces bearing the marks of regular maintenance. The ocean's rhythm carries faintly through the stone, a distant percussion against the tower's foundations. The spiral ends. The lower chamber opens into stillness, machinery, stone, and the accumulated quiet of the night shift's routine observations, all held within the lighthouse's protective stone embrace. The iron staircase tightens as it winds downward. Metal steps, worn smooth by decades of use, spiral inward through the tower's hollow core. The lantern room recedes overhead, its golden glow filtering through the curved window in the stairwell wall, a diminishing beacon marking the descent. Cool air rises from below, carrying the faint scent of salt and machinery oil. Each step produces a soft metallic ring, absorbed quickly by the narrowing shaft. The walls transition from brass-fitted lamp room to plain stone, rougher and older. A small oil lantern mounted on the wall casts its steady glow across the descending path, illuminating dust motes suspended in the still air. The geometric pattern of the tower's exterior window creates a shifting rectangle of moonlit ocean visible through the stairwell, a reminder of the night sea far below. The pitch of echoes changes as the spiral tightens. The staircase reaches the keeper's quarters. Shelves line the curved walls, lined with log books bound in leather, their spines worn from regular handling. Glass jars of ink, spare wick oil, and brass fittings rest in ordered rows. The temperature drops further here, insulated from above. Through the tower's single porthole window, the dark Atlantic stretches beyond the rocky headland. The mechanical chambers below signal their presence through the stone floor, a faint, rhythmic vibration beneath the structure, constant and patient as the turning of the beacon itself. Remote solitude wraps around simple routines. The smell of oil, leather, worn wood, and patience fills the small quarters. A dim table lamp casts a golden circle across the workspace, brass fittings and glass vessels arranged on weathered surfaces. The beacon far above continues its slow rotation, distant and constant. The quarters exist in stillness between midnight and dawn. A leather-bound logbook lies open, pages yellowed by salt air and lamp glow. Maintenance tools rest in careful order: brushes, cloths, cans of oil. Each object catches the lamplight in turn, shadows shifting gently across wood grain and metal edges. Outside the narrow windows, the ocean moves in the darkness beyond the beam's reach. Wind carries the mineral taste of salt against stone. Inside, the room exhales quiet, the faint hum of mechanisms above, the slow tick of a clock marking hours. The soft flicker of lampwick against brass reflects in a polished mirror, a pulse of warmth in the cool stone tower. All is rhythm and waiting, oil and patience settling deeper into the night. The quarters remain suspended in near darkness, broken only by the pale corona of a table lamp, its warm glow pools across worn wood surfaces, the grain catching light in soft gradations. A brass oil can sits near the lamp's base, its metal dimly reflective. Pages of a logbook rest open, their edges yellowed and touched with salt air patina. The air carries the layered scent of lamp oil, aged leather from storage bins stacked in shadow, and the deep mineral smell of wood aged by decades of sea damp. Beyond the single porthole window, the Atlantic rolls in rhythm with wind gusts that press against glass and frame. Salt crystals have etched fine patterns into the pane. The lamp beam from above rotates through its measured arc, casting the room into brief increments of relative brightness and shadow. Tools hang in neat order on pegged walls: brushes, small brass instruments, coils of rope. Each catches the lamplight in its own way, lending texture to the compact space. The iron staircase descends into darkness below, its spiral shape defined only by the faint metallic outline where lamplight finds edge. A cork-stoppered bottle of lamp oil stands capped and ready on a shelf. The small room breathes with the tower itself, subtle creaks of stone and wood frame responding to wind pressure and temperature shifts between the cold ocean air and the interior thermal mass. Midnight to dawn folds into itself, unmarked by anything except the patient rotation of light overhead and the steady accumulation of salt spray on exterior stone. The quarters remain still in the deep night. A table lamp casts its pale glow across worn wood surfaces, illuminating the open pages of a logbook and the tools scattered nearby. Oil cans rest beside leather-bound journals, their brass fittings catching the amber light. The air carries the quiet smell of machine oil, aged paper, and the salt-laden breath of the ocean pressing against the tower's stone. Outside the narrow window, the darkness remains absolute except for the rhythmic sweep of the beacon beam, a flash of white light cutting through the gloom above, then retreating. The sound of wind against the tower's face is steady, almost meditative. Below, the waves continue their ancient percussion against the rocky headland. a bass note beneath the softer vibrations of the structure itself. The lamp on the table burns with steady patience, its wick trimmed clean. Every object in the quarters has its place. Brushes for cleaning glass, rags worn soft by use, spare wicks coiled in small tins. The iron staircase beyond the door stands ready for the next ascent, its steps cold and silent in the darkness. Time moves differently in these hours, measured not by clocks, but by the predictable rotation of the light and the reliable rhythm of wind and water. The keeper's quarters hold their vigil, suspended between the lamproom far above and the storage chambers below. Everything waits in the calm between midnight and dawn. The quarters remain still in the early morning hours. A single table lamp casts its amber pool across worn surfaces, leather bindings, brass fittings, the grain of aged wood, all softened by the gentle glow. The air holds the accumulated scent of lamp oil and aged timber, layered with salt that has seeped through stone over countless seasons. Beyond the narrow window, the rotating beam from above continues its patient arc across the darkness. Equipment rests on shelves and table edges, coiled rope, cloth rags, small metal cans and tools arranged with quiet purpose. The brass lantern sits nearby, its warm surface catching light. Each object carries the weight of routine maintenance and careful attention. The stone walls press inward, offering shelter from the wind that rises and falls outside. Time moves slowly in these hours between night and dawn. The narrow iron staircase above stands silent, waiting. The lamp's wick burns steadily, unchanged in its rhythm. Outside, the ocean continues its conversation with the rocks below, a constant susurration that filters through the walls. The quarters hold only the essential, objects needed, light provided, and the patient vigil of the tower itself. In this interval of stillness, the lighthouse exists in its truest form, not as a beacon for distant eyes, but as a space unto itself. The beam rotates, the stone endures, the oil waits in its containers. The small quarters breathe with the rhythm of the sea, indifferent and eternal. The quarters settle into stillness. A table lamp casts its warm sphere across dark wood surfaces, worn desk, weathered shelves lined with brass fittings and glass bottles. The air hangs thick with the accumulated scent of lamp oil and salt-laden wind pressed through stone walls. Shadows pool in corners where the light does not reach. A leather-bound logbook lies closed. Brass keys rest against aged wood. The lamp's filament glows steady, unchanged for hours. Every object in the quarters speaks of routine and time. Oil cans stand upright on a lower shelf, their metal surfaces dulled by years of handling. A soft cloth, dark with accumulated grime, drapes across a hook. The leather of old journal covers has stiffened and cracked with age. Wood grain shows pale where countless hands would have touched, now untouched in the night hours. The smell of oil mingles with salt spray that has seeped into the stone itself. Patience lives in these small, confined spaces where nothing moves but air and light. The quarters form a narrow capsule within the tower, stone walls curving slightly. Iron fixtures bolted to plaster. A single window facing the dark expanse beyond. The lamp continues its unbroken work, illuminating the grain of wood, the patina of brass, the folds of fabric draped over chairbacks. Outside, the beacon rotates far above, its beam sweeping across the ocean in measured intervals. Within these walls, silence holds. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of things left in their places, waiting through the hours until the sky begins to lighten and the night watch draws toward its end. The rotating light slows its visible sweep as natural light creeps back. The beacon's beam, once sharp against the black, begins to pale and dissolve into the returning gray. Ocean and sky blur at the horizon, their edges softening as darkness releases its grip. The lamp-room windows hold the first whisper of dawn, a faint silver blue that spreads across the curved glass. Quiet and persistent, the brass lantern continues its mechanical rotation, its oil-fed flame steady despite the encroaching light. Salt-laden wind carries the sound of waves against the rocky headland below, a rhythm that is echoed through the night. The iron staircase spirals downward through shadow and silence, its metal surface cold and still. Above, the gallery windows frame a landscape in transition, the dark deep of the ocean beginning to reveal texture and tone as the sky lightens degree by degree. The beacon turns without pause, its mechanism wound and reliable, indifferent to the hour. Glass panels reflect the fading artificial glow and the growing natural light in equal measure, a doubling of illumination at the threshold between night and morning. The air inside the lamproom grows cooler as warmth from the flame mingles with dawn's chill. Outside, the headland's stone surfaces emerge from darkness, their weathered edges catching the first true light of the approaching day. The night's vigilance nears its close, the beacon still burning, though its purpose soon will fade. The iron staircase spirals upward through deepening silence. Stone walls retain the night's chill, while salt air drifts through narrow windows. Above, the lamp-room's curved glass catches the first pale hints of eastern sky, a gradual softening from black to charcoal gray. The rotating beacon continues its steady arc across the darkening ocean. Its beam sweeps in slow rhythm, still bright against the fading darkness. Yet the horizon grows lighter with each rotation. Sky and sea begin to merge into an undifferentiated gray, the boundary between them dissolving. The brass lantern glows warm within its glass housing, the mechanism turning with mechanical precision. Below, the rock headland emerges from shadow as pre-dawn gray suffuses the air. Waves persist against stone, their rhythm unchanged by the returning light. The rotating light slows its visible sweep as natural light creeps back across the water. The beacon's glow dims imperceptibly against the growing dawn. Its vigilance complete, the long night released into morning. The iron staircase spirals upward through deepening silence, stone walls cool and steady, marked by decades of salt and wind. Each landing opens onto darkness thinning degree by degree, the sky beyond the curved windows, shifting from black to charcoal to the first gray promise of dawn. The lamp room emerges at the tower's crown. Glass panes frame an ocean still dark but no longer infinite. The horizon now a defined line where gray water meets graying sky. The rotating beacon continues its steady sweep, its beam less vivid now against the creeping natural light, yet unwavering in its rhythm. The brass lantern glows warm in the growing dawn, its mechanism turning with precision. Salt spray clings to the outer glass. Inside, the flame burns steady. Ocean and atmosphere blur into soft, uniform gray. The beacon's visible arc grows gentler as the world reclaims its light, the night slowly releasing its grip on the rocky headland, waves continuing their patient resonance against stone below. The iron staircase spirals upward through shadow. Each step echoes faintly, the narrow passage framing darkness that grows subtly thinner. Above, the lamp room waits, its curved windows beginning to catch the first hint of gray at the horizon. The rotating beacon continues its slow, steady sweep across the Atlantic, beam still visible against the retreating night. The gallery opens around the lamp. Brass fittings catch what remains of the beacon's own light. Oil within the lantern glows warm amber. Its level steady. Glass panes frame a world in transition. Ocean below still dark. But the sky above has shifted from black to deepest slate. The rotating mechanism turns with precision, unchanged, indifferent to the approaching dawn. Minutes pass. The sweep of light across the water becomes less pronounced as natural illumination builds. The horizon sharpens from blur to line. Ocean and sky, separate from their gray, merge into distinct territories. Salt-laden wind carries the scent of the turning tide. Stone walls hold the night's collected cold, radiating it slowly back into air that grows steadily warmer. The beacon rotates on. Its beam, once a lifeline against absolute darkness, now shares the work with dawn's creeping arrival. The sky pales further, indigo yielding to lavender. Then slate. The light's purpose remains constant, even as the night releases its grip. All is steady. All is held. The long watch moves toward its close. The iron staircase spirals upward through deep shadow. Each step rings faintly against stone and metal as the tower breathes with cold, salt air. Above, the lamp room glows. A steady, methodical rotation continues its ancient work. The beacon's beam sweeps across the darkening water, slower now as the horizon begins its slow return to visibility. Inside the lamp room gallery, curved windows frame the transition. The rotating lens catches the first hints of gray, the sky and ocean merging into a single shadowed expanse. The brass oil lantern still burns, its warm glow dimming against the returning light. The beacon continues its sweep, patient and eternal. The rotating light slows its visible sweep as natural light creeps back across the water. The darkness that held the beacon's beam in sharp relief begins to soften. Wind carries salt and the distant resonance of waves against the rocky headland below. Stone and glass and metal stand witness to the night's slow release. The lamp room remains steady and enduring. The beacon turns. The sky continues its pale transition. Morning approaches the coast, and the lighthouse holds its solitary vigil at the edge of stone and sea.